Good morning, good morning, good morning, good afternoon. How is everybody today? Welcome to session 2 of live prospecting. I see people are like dropping like flies. So for you who are all dedicated to reaching out to people, thank you. So look, I want to go through a couple challenges that people have in prospecting, right? So before we get started, drop in the chat what your biggest challenge, resistance, or reason that you don't prospect more often is. Thank you. It's amazing from the morning to the afternoon how different it is. So here's the thing. I'm going to go through some of these. If you don't have enough people to call, then you need to start going to places where you can meet people that are similar and make up the avatar of who you want to work with. Time management, there's nothing more important in your business than making these phone calls. You don't want to bother people. That's my favorite one. And I'll tell you why. When on a scale of 1 to 10, right? How personal do your transactions get? 1 meaning they're 1 to 3 are like introverted accountant and finance people that don't want to talk about anything besides numbers. And the rest of the people, they get to know you. 11, you can put 11 or they share everything and there's no boundaries. How personal are your relationships with the people that you have? 10. Amy, what do you got? Nathan, I'm interested in what kind of people you work with. So here's the thing. In real estate, especially if you're not selling investment properties, there's a certain emotional connection that happens throughout the journey that you all go on together. People share so much with you. And write this down. It's a Tony Robbins quote. It's not my own quote, but once you label an experience, that's what it becomes. Once you label an experience, that's what it becomes. So in your mind, if you think you're bothering them, you don't know what to say and everything else, this is what your experience is going to be like before you even call. And, something really magical happens at a real estate closing. And it's not the exchanging of keys. It's that all of a sudden, if today, in this moment, was my closing with Amy, Amy's been personal. She knows about my kids, all kinds of stuff. Now, all of a sudden, the closing happens. And if she has to call me tomorrow, all of a sudden, she doesn't know what to say. It's like they have amnesia and all the experience just went away. And really, what we end up creating for ourselves is a self-fulfilling prophecy. Everything we don't want to think about, what we don't want people to think about us, we actually manifest this exact experience. Let me share how. If somebody asks you and opens up and shares all of this stuff to you, do you think they're doing it because they view you as a transactional person in their life? Probably not, right? They share a lot more than what's required because really what they need to share is bedrooms, bathroom, updated, not updated, type of apartment, amenities, lifestyle, and that's it, right? It's the things that influence that specific decision on the lifestyle they want to live in the community. Now, we have all of these amazing connections, but after the closing happens, we then have amnesia and then we don't know what to say. So what does it look like we did? We may pretend to be their friend and someone that was their confidant, advisor, whatever you want to call it, just to make money, and then we don't stay in touch. It's bad. Prospecting is just a continuation of a conversation or relationship. That's all that it is. I'm not asking you to call strangers. You need to start with the people that have already known, like, and trust you. The other thing is they've already chosen you. Out of all the realtors they could have worked with, they chose you, Anne. That's it. Now, is that really complicated? Not really. What do I say to them? Be a human being. Did you just forget how to talk to people? This is why it's so important that in your CRM, you take notes and log activities. If you don't know what to say, go on their Facebook or their Instagram, see what they've shared lately, if they're on social, and say, hey, I saw that this happened a week ago, whatever it is, and I just wanted to reach out. Congratulations, that must be excited. How are you doing? We got several responses in the morning from people who have not heard from clients in a long time. Like, One person said, oh my God, life is great. My son's being a CPA. God bless his heart. He wants to be an attorney. Another person's in medical school. This is what's going on here. And they're like, wow. But here's the challenge people have. Relationships in people's lives are based on neuroassociation, the way your brain connects one thing to another, and are all defined. When a relationship goes from defined to undefined, it becomes confusing for everybody. Does that make sense? Now, I'll give you an example. When I used to go to the gym, seems like many moons ago, at 4:30 a.m., there's a group of 10 to 15 of us that were all friends. There was one guy, John, who was an older gentleman in his 60s. He referred to all of us in our 30s as kid and would give us life advice and all of that kind of fun stuff. So one day we're all sitting there as a group having breakfast, and he goes to me, hey kid, he goes, when are you going to send me a deal? I'm like, what deal? He's like, you do know I actually have like a job and a career and a business. I just don't come here to hang out with you guys because you're young and fun and just give you advice. Like, I do like, do you trust me? And I looked at him in that moment, it really just hit me like this. I'm like, oh my God. The only thing I think of you is you're my friend from the gym that's like Wilson in Home Improvement, that if I need advice about life or work, I can ask you. It never resonated with me that he had a business and he did other stuff, because that's not the context I knew him in. So when you go from being their realtor to closing, is the relationship now undefined? Yes or no? Everyone should nod their head and say yes. Don't be confused. They don't know what to expect of you, and you haven't defined what to expect from them. So what I'm going to share with you is what I believe is one of the most important things that you can learn how to do to get more referrals and make your life easier. Is it infinitely easier to get referrals from your past clients or centers of influence, or meet the new online consumer that access to more data and information than they ever did before? I would go with option one, right? So you need to redefine, and I call this the extending the relationship conversation. So what is the peak point in a real estate transaction? Those three words that you love the most: clear to close. It is the peak point in the transaction. They still need you and they're very excited. Correct? So I would say to Cherish, I would say, hey, I just want to take the opportunity to share how grateful I am to not only partner with you in purchasing or selling your home, but that you also, and that you also, don't use but, and that you also insert all the things that they shared about you, your kids, their family, and all these other things, and then just shut up. And then I'm going to turn, and then Cherish is going to turn around to me, oh, Chirag, it's really great to know about you and your kids and, you know, your passion for helping people and everything else. And then I would say, can I ask you a question? And they're going to say, sure. Would it be okay? Right? Write those words down. Would it be okay? Always use those words because it gives the other person full control. So I say, Cherish, would it be okay if I continue just to stay in touch with you once a month? And we like to share, insert all your value proposition. This is why it's so clear, important to be clear what you do after the transaction, right? So I'd say, look, you know, once a month we check in, and God forbid, we want to make sure that we live here in the community, we work with people here, that you're not ever at a place that you're looking for random strangers online, whether it's a service, a place to go, a restaurant, we have client events, and share what you offer, and then be quiet. 90% of people, do you know what they would say? Yeah, that would be great. Now they're expecting your call once a month. They're expecting your emails that you give that talk. Like, they're expecting what you want them to expect with, and they engage with it. Now, here's the other part. Chirag, what happens if they say no? Great. You're not going to ruin a good relationship by pissing them off, by calling them, emailing them, texting them, and sending them a bunch of stuff they don't know. And I always say to them, look, I really appreciate that, but every client is an equal part of our community once they close. So we'll still share with you our great gifts that we give every year. And we do have great client experiences, events, and we do invite you, and there's no obligation to come. But we understand you want to keep the contact to a minimum. Can we all do this? I got one. Who's coming with me? Two, three. It's my Jerry Maguire moment today. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There we go. Perfect. And this is how simple this all can be. The next thing I'm going to say, your fellow agents your buyers that bought a home with you, your sellers that sold a home with you, your centers of influence. Nobody gives a shit about your new listings, your property reductions, and your coming soons. Just saying that right now. Now I have this intimate relationship with Cherish, who's my realtor, and that she knows all this stuff about me. She doesn't call me, she doesn't email me, she doesn't text me, she doesn't even see how I'm doing in the home. Sorry, Cherish. But she does send me her stupid property emails, which I really don't care about. A lot of times they're in areas I don't even live in. And my favorite one, which I'll keep going back to again, is the price reduction one. Hey, let me raise my hand and say, did my job incorrectly. And if you hire me, I get it wrong first time, you lose money. That's really what that's saying. Just stop, please. And to go back to Jerry Maguire, help me help you. That's where I am today. Help me help you. So if you don't know what to say, I drove by your house, I was in the neighborhood, any of these things work. How's your family? How's work? You have anything exciting planned going into New Year's? And one of my favorite ones are, what's one personal goal that you have that I could support you in? And a lot of these people are going to say, what's new with you? What's exciting? How's the market? Because if you make it all about them, the law of reciprocity says at some point they have to ask about you. And there's some people that are just narcissists that won't ask, and you'll please their ego just about making it by them, and that's it. And if Cherish asked me how I could help her, or vice versa, she should just say, I made a commitment to help 25 families or people make a move in Denver, Colorado, in Denver. If you know someone I can help, let me know. That's all you have to do, because people that are in relationships support other people's commitments. I would put that all in your email signature. Instead of, I'm never too busy to take your referral. The greatest compliment that you could give me is a referral. Like, come on, we're all better than that. We're offering high-end luxury services. So in all of our touch points, we need to communicate like high-end luxury brands. Luxury experiences are curated, they're thoughtful. All right, so you're working in San Francisco. So Anne, how many transactions do you want to do this year? Type in the chat. 10. All right. I made a commitment to help 15 families or people make a move in San Francisco in 2024. Who do you know I can help? Right? Your tagline could ask a question, so it'll provoke people to think differently. Now, is any of this complicated? So please get out of your head. You cannot let that little monkey voice in your head control your life. It will be chaos. For the people that say they don't have time, this is the single most important thing you could do to guarantee consistent income. If your responsibility to anyone else in your life, the responsibility lies in making these phone calls. So in that spirit, in the 15 minutes we have, was this helpful for everyone in terms of just having the right mindset and doing this? So I had a client who had a hard time making these calls. So I'll share with you what I told her to put on a Post-it note, which I encourage anyone that would find this helpful. It says, today I get to connect with 5 different people. What 5 people do I want to deepen my relationship with today? Today I have the opportunity to connect with 5 people. What 5 people do I want to deepen my relationship with today? If you saw that, wouldn't the calls be a little different? Like, oh yeah, just get deepen my relationship. I would just call Jeff Lang. Hey, Jeff, it's been a while. I drove by your home the other day, or, Jeff and I met at Tom Ferry like 12 years ago. I'd say, hey, I just saw a video from Tom. It's been a while. I was just thinking about you. I saw you join Compass. How are you? Let's start a conversation. How's your family doing? What are you most excited about in joining Compass, right? Like, you have anything exciting planned for yourself personally that you want to do? And like, what's one personal goal I can help you with? Thank you, Ella. Super simple. Simple wins. Everyone thinks we need to do all this stuff. We don't need to do any of this stuff. You just need to be a human being and call people and stop sending out these bad communications that don't help you. Ta-da! All right, so now we have 13 minutes for live prospecting. So I have to stay true to my commitment. We all have to do stuff. So Everyone, phone, email, text, videos. If you have any questions on what to say to people or a situation, please drop it in the chat and I'll provide you an answer. And Parker, I'm reading your thing right now. What would you say to my weekly emails? I create newsletter types of messages sent to all my SOI, past clients, active leads. I spend a good amount of time each week, including things to do around DC that week, brilliance and nude headlines, and interior design corner, a luxury property in one paragraph, but a different aspect of the market each week. Some people unsubscribe, and I totally get that. My open rate is 67%. I've been doing this email every week since the pandemic started, and I really love it, but this is a waste of time telling me. Well, here's the thing, Parker. One, you're giving value. Two, you want to judge this by how many responses you get. Open rates are the biggest scam in email marketing. Do you know how many emails I click select all and just hit mark read? I am a zero inbox person. Every email that I own in my life has to have a zero inbox. So the challenge that I would challenge you is this. Look at the segments of your list and just look to add value. So if they own a home or they live in DC, like the things to do in DC are universal to everyone. The interior design corner are great for home buyers, like your buyers and stuff like that, right? Your past clients and centers of influence may or may not want this. So I would mess around with the marketing message and, you know, maybe switch to a bi-weekly email where it's more segmented and you give yourself an extra week to make something better. And here's the other thing. I don't think everyone should spend so much money on these damn cold leads. They're not worth the time. Until you've mastered, unless you're buying cold leads, which is a different story. If not, do not spend time on cold leads before you've mastered the people that already know, like, trust you, and already chose to work with you. Suzanne, I need some more context or we'll have the recording go up. So go back to about 15 minutes into the video and you should be able to find it. I'm sorry, sometimes this stuff doesn't come out twice. Yeah, cold leads, right? Like, how much time do you really spend chasing people? Like, if I had a cold lead, I would just share things to do in the community that they're looking in. And I don't know how much more it is than that. It does take 8 touch points to do it, but people spend so much more time on a cold lead than they do even people in their database. You have to master the minors before you can go into the majors, right? And the minors really are the majors, are the people that already know, like, and trust you. That's fine, Mike. But a lot of this stuff with cold leads, if you med seed them from the beginning and really qualify them and had that standards list I was telling you about, half these people you wouldn't even want to work with or spend 2 minutes talking to. All right, everybody dial, type away. Aloha in Hawaii. Jessica, look for some groups that you can join, right? Jessica, do you have kids? Yes, no? No? Okay, fair enough. So look to join professional networks. There are tons of different things if you look online. And the other thing I would be doing if I were you and I was new, I'd be reaching out and meeting as many Compass agents in other markets and say, hey, I'm new. And as I build my business, I'm looking for a referral partner in your market. We want to know if I could learn more about you, your business, and the areas you service. So when I have a referral, I could send it to you. Jody pinged us about a referral, right? Denny Bowers is a great agent that covers Fort Myers and Naples, and you can connect with him, right? But we know what Denny does, and Denny has a lot of his business from other agents. He's a great human to send business to and to work with. But see, I know this because I have a relationship with Denny. And for any of you who think it's a bother, when I called and connected with a bunch of you over November, December, what I got is like, Chirag, is this really you? I can't believe you're calling me. Wow, like, this is great. People want to hear from you. They just don't want to hear from you and say, You know, the market is really low inventory. Do you know anyone looking to buy or sell right now? Who the hell wants to have that conversation with somebody? Andy, what do you want to track? Kristen Clark, nice to have you here. Pick up your phone, start calling people. Okay, hold on. I have to find you. All right, try unmuting now, Andy.
Got it. So I love being reminded that I need to contact a different group of people throughout the week. And that's helped a lot. But I'd also, at the end of the week, may like to look back at the week to see who I've contacted, what the outcome was, the number of contacts. And I don't know of a way to do that. And when I mentioned the Compass CRM, it logs the activity, but I can't really go back and say, okay, I contacted 13 people here and 22 people here and sent out,
Take out a piece of, just take out a piece of paper, right? Don't let perfect get in the way of progress. There's nothing perfect that exists for anything in real estate, unfortunately. So in the end, what I would do was I'd put a little tally for the people I contacted. Every person you contact, you log the activity and you create a task on what you're going to do next and when you're going to follow up with them, right?
Got it. Got it.
And
I
when you
have been
call,
keeping them on the spreadsheet and it's just
don't bother with the spreadsheet. Just set a task. Like if you talk to me, we had a great conversation, log the activity, put the notes, and the task says call Chirag again in a month and talk about this, 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 and this. And then when you go into Compass, you just hit the tasks and all the things you need to do show up by day.
okay. I don't want to overthink it, but the system, the navigator system does ask what our weekly progress was. And
So
to be
what
able
we'll
to,
do is we'll create something simple that you can just fill in with like just like a
yeah.
tally.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Thank you. Good feedback.
Thanks.
Sparker, I would say thrilled to share that you'll have a new neighbor coming at 123 Main Street. They'll be moving approximately then. And what we find is people really like to know when they have new neighbors, right? So it's like you could come from that angle. But if you're building a relationship and just going for the close right away, it's like if two people went out on a date for the first time, they're like, hey, do you want to get married? Or how could I support you in your lifetime relationship goals? You look at me and you run. I love having Parker on these calls. She's very active, always in asking questions. If I were you, I'd be asking any question I could humanly think of because I have an answer for most things. And then it just becomes easy. You just have to take the action. Just hit the button. Great. I would say to an open house visitor, I understand you're in the information gathering process. What specifically would be most helpful for you in this phase of your home search? So if you're following up with a lead, I would just put subject line information gathering process. I'd say, hey, Ann, it was great meeting you at 123 Main Street. Completely understand you're in the information gathering process. What specifically could I share with you that would be most helpful at this stage in your home search? And by the way, if you did not listen to our objection handling session, go back and watch it. It was epic. And we talked about all of these different kinds of things of objections, conditions, different ways to deal with difficult people. Couple more minutes. Anyone have any wins to share? Got 2 callbacks out of 5 past, 1 out of 5 past clients answered. I emailed 4. Great, you made 5 calls. 2 lunches set up. Amazing. Lunches and coffees are good. Mike, it's all going to work out. Oh, Illa, a home buying thing. 4 completely new people registered. Coffees are great. I like coffees because they're in, they're out. They're generally less than an hour, and considering you have to pay for it, it's cheap. Like you're out left like $20 or less. Tea with 2 clients. A referral from your past client. Yeah, much cheaper than beer and much less of a time commitment. All right, everybody. It's always with love in my heart. I love you all. And look, just keep focusing forward. Keep believing in yourself. Hold on 1 second. Zoom thinks I'm speaking a different language now. Okay. I don't know why. Keep believing in yourself and just remember that these calls are nothing but just a continuation of a relationship, and the people want to hear from you. They're excited to hear from you. They want to share all those things that happened in their home that you were excited about when you bought it. It's the easiest thing to do. Is like, if I bought a house for a backyard and having tons of kids over, I would say, hey, like, the summer's past, the beginning of the new year. How'd you use your backyard over the summer? I know you're really excited about blank. And then they're going to start sharing all these things. And at the end of it, they're going to have a positive experience and feeling in connection with staying in touch with you. And it just makes it easier and easier. Remember to watch this back again and start practicing extending the conversation, extending the relationship conversation. And remember, the more you do this, the more lucky you get. So with love in my heart, I love you all. I will see you all hopefully tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Yes, Jerry Maguire, Brad. Help me help you.